Hi friends, it's been a while. Some of you might know we moved to Shanghai recently, so that explains the empty room. It takes about 3 months to get all of our stuff. So we have a little bit of rental furniture and basically what we brought in our suitcases. But I wanted to share something that I have been working on for quite a while. It's a financial spreadsheet that goes beyond budgeting. It actually doesn't focus on budgeting at all. But it integrates your cash flow, your expenses, with your taxes and with your things like your mortgage amortization schedule. It like all links together and integrates to make things really easy. And I've been using it for myself and I'm really excited about it. And it's something that I think will be useful to a lot of people. So I searched for something like this before I created this workbook and I couldn't find anything, any software program that did this for individual people and not for like financial advisors. I even tried some that were for financial advisors that I felt like didn't exactly do what I wanted to do. And I looked for spreadsheets that had something similar that I could just start with to create my own thing to customize it. But since I couldn't find anything, I decided I would just start my own from scratch, and I'm really excited about how easy it makes it, and I think that it will be helpful for others too. So I'm giving you a sneak peek today. If you join my email list, the first part of the workbook I will be providing free to my email subscribers, at least through October. The first main part of the spreadsheet, and the part that I'll be sharing with my email subscribers, is what I'm referring to as the basic financial essentials portion. So that's these tabs highlighted in purple down here. Please note that these are not my own personal numbers, nor are they based on any actual person's numbers. They're just strictly a made-up example here. The spreadsheet starts with an essential set of inputs that flow to the rest of the spreadsheet. Throughout the workbook, only yellow cells are for inputs. The main sheet is the annual cash flow sheet, which starts out as an estimated annual budget, and then it shifts to actual monthly expenses throughout the year. So you can see that you can select actual after each month is done. So we're going to look at this example here. Since it's September, we're going to say that through August these are actual numbers and then estimated for the end of the year, September through December. So you'll notice that in this spreadsheet I like to include gross pay and all of the breakouts instead of just including net pay. So this is especially important for tax planning, but it's also helpful for analyzing our expenses. It's really important to look at all of your expenses. Your income tax withholding, your payroll deductions, these can be some of the largest expenses you have. You can see there's some extra information here. This is for tax planning purposes, including imputed income such as life insurance that your employer pays and retirement HSA contributions made by your employer. And then scrolling down, you can see that there's a spot for other income, savings contributions, and then the remaining expenses broken out by main category. On the right-hand side, you'll see that this spreadsheet also calculates monthly averages and then percentages of gross income. So you can quickly compare income items, such as looking at the first payroll here. You can see that this constitutes about 57% of their total income, and then of course you can also see by expenses. So for example, you can see that this couple spends about 18% on housing. Moving on to the next tab, we'll look at savings rates. These all pull from the annual cash flow tab. You can see the first 2 quarters are based on actual numbers from that tab, and then the second quarters are based on estimate numbers since September is still an estimate. So the only manual input required here are the mortgage principal payments. There are quite a few ways to calculate savings rates. The ones I've included here are the one based on gross income and one based on post-tax income. So calculating based on post-tax income is useful for those pursuing financial independence. There are a lot of rules of thumb that are based on this savings rate number rather than on gross income. The next 2 tabs include current net worth and historical net worth. Net worth is another great financial metric to use when you're trying to grow your wealth, along with your savings rate. This spreadsheet allows you to go back 10 years. So if you have more years, it's a spreadsheet, you can just go ahead and add what you have. And then for the current year, it allows you to track your net worth quarterly, which is what I personally do and recommend. And then based on all these sheets is this current overview. So it just shows at a quick glance the totals for the year, has some charts with the spending and the saving, and then a net worth summary that's in just a little bit different format than the net worth statement that we looked at. So I like it because it has the net of the liability that offsets the assets, and you can kind of see what you have by category. So if you're really heavily invested in real estate, or you can see how much you have saved for retirement in total, and then your total net worth here at the end. It also includes a few financial ratios that I found to be helpful. The last sheet here is an emergency fund calculation. So it starts with a basic emergency fund, just kind of a smaller amount to cover, and then a cash reserve amount, which would be 3 to 12 months in savings. So the average budgeted amount is linked to the annual cash flow, the averages for the year, and then you can put in kind of a bare bones budget situation, and it will give you, based on how many months you want to cover, the total cash reserve that you should save. So that's a quick overview of the basic financial essentials portion of the spreadsheet. And then next we'll cover some of the other parts of the spreadsheet, which will be available later as my first product on the blog. I added a couple sheets to help you to track your personal and financial goals. I do believe that's really important. There's a sheet that will help you with the future value calculations. So it has a few examples here and how to calculate those. So that's things like you want to know how much you need to save each month for retirement, that type of thing. There's a 10-year projection, which is a work in progress. The next spreadsheet I want to show you is the tax portion. So I created a federal income tax projection with 4 different scenarios. You can select your filing status, dependents, and then it pulls these numbers in from the annual cash flow sheet. So wages would be W-2 wages because it pulls in the numbers that would go to your W-2 line 1. Interest, dividends, and then there's the different scenarios so you can kind of see, like, what if I made an IRA contribution, business income, etc. And then it has supporting schedules like your Schedule C for your business income, Schedule D is for your capital gains and losses, and the new QBI deduction, the qualified business income deduction if you have a business. So that's really helpful. That's definitely something new and very confusing to a lot of people. Schedule E is rental. Schedule SE would be for self-employment. So this is great for people that have a business, including myself. That's why I've included it. This tax overview I feel like is especially helpful. It takes all of that information and it kind of analyzes it a little bit more for you. So you have your marginal rate, your effective rates. There's the amount you have left in ordinary bracket or in the capital gain bracket, so you can do some tax planning and know exactly how much more income you can have, or things like Roth conversions, so that you know how much that space is before you're going to have to pay more in income taxes. So there's some things about IRA contributions. This chart shows your taxable income compared to the total bracket. So that's similar. You can kind of see how much you have left before you reach the next tax bracket. The next section helps you to track your debt. So there's a quick overview of your ending loan balances and some of the key numbers that are helpful. You can track your credit score, credit reports, credit card debt payoff, and the various loans you have. There's amortization schedules for each one. There's a nifty chart that shows you how much you've already paid throughout the end of this year and then how much you still have to pay. So it's a little visual way to track your progress there. The next section is for insurance. So there's a little overview of all your insurance policies. You can look at your homeowner's insurance policy and put in all the information, which helps you to make sure you know exactly what your coverage is and to make sure that it does match the value of what you need to replace. There's various ones there. The life insurance calculation and the disability insurance calculations are also linked to the annual cash flow sheet. It is helpful to know, exactly how much you make and base it on that, and then as well as your expenses. The saving and investing portion is still very much a work in progress, but I'll show you one of the tabs. So this is the portfolio allocation and fee section. So you can put in all of your investment accounts by type, and then include what you're investing in, and whether it's cash, stocks, bonds, and then you'll be able to see what percentage total you have invested in each. Another useful thing here is to calculate what your expense ratios are and how much you're paying in expenses throughout all of your portfolio. This is the information you need to rebalance your portfolio, whether you do that a couple times a year or once a year. You can update this spreadsheet or create a new tab, copy this, and then you have everything you need to do that. So the remainder are tracking of different accounts and different goals. There's also a retirement portion, which will include all the accounts you have for retirement, as well as the calculation of your monthly budget in retirement. Of course, that links also to the annual cash flow sheet, and then you can adjust those numbers as you think will be applicable for retirement. The last part will be the estate planning portion, which will just be mostly a checklist of whether you have your beneficiaries in order, and then your documents like your living will, your last will, and testament. And that pretty much wraps it up. So I'd love to know what you think. If you want to leave me a comment, send me an email. If there's things that you saw that you thought were confusing or things that you really liked, something that you track in your own personal finances that you didn't see here, just let me know. I'm really excited to share some more of this with you as I roll more out. So stay tuned. The best way to keep track is to subscribe to my email list, which will be linked in the comments below.